Hey, what's going on, everyone? Uh, as you can see up in my little corner, it's 6 a.m. Thursday, July 2nd. Like usual, I woke up at 4:30 today, and I ran, really trying to get better, but it didn't work out today. I only ran 2 miles. It just seemed like weak effort. We're going on vacation today, so I kind of gave myself that excuse. I wanted to get back quick. Maybe it's obvious if you watch these now, but I'm trying to. So today I'm obviously recording earlier than normal, and that's also why. Where is it? I got this laser beam from the window coming in, so I have to be careful where my head is. It usually happens around between like 6 and 7:30. You can see it. Like my window just quite doesn't cover up everything. So, what am I listening to? Still listening to Gary Vee, but I switched it up. So I was listening to Ask Gary Vee, that book. I still have about 5 hours left of that, but I switched over. What happened was, like, he's always talking about his book Jab 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 Right Hook, I believe it's called, but that one isn't on Audible. So I went and I bought that on Kindle. I started reading that, and I was just gonna like read one and listen to the other kind of in parallel. And then immediately in that book, he was talking about his book, The Thank You Economy. And so I decided to buy that on Audible, or like use my credit for that on Audible. So now I switched over. I'm listening to that. And I guess I knew this, but his book, Crush It, I think was actually before that. So I'm sure I'll listen to that as well. I'm sure it doesn't have to be in order, but for some reason, Ask Gary Vee, the type of book Ask Gary Vee is, it's like just a bunch of Q&A, like you would expect from the title. But he's always referencing his other books, so I just thought, well, let me just go and check those out. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. Thank You Economy. I guess I'm not sure exactly what it's about yet, beyond just like the title. It is about giving value, kind of like what I was talking about yesterday. That's basically as far as I got. I'm only like an hour into it. I listened to like 2.5 times speed on everything. So even just running, I think I ran for like 24 minutes ish, something like that, like 2 miles. And so, yeah, I'm only about like an hour into it. And he's just talking about word of mouth and the importance of social media. I think it was written in 2011 or 2012. So it's a little bit old, but he was right. And so, yeah, it's in general about bringing value. One of the things that it reminds me of kind of the attitude of Seth Godin. We talked about it, or I talked about it in like that book Lynchpin, about like he talks about giving gifts. That's basically it, right? And giving gifts to and actually he talked about it in Tribes too. Seth Godin has another book called Tribes, and by giving and sharing, you are being a leader. That's basically it. Maybe it doesn't seem like that at all the time, but even at your work, if you are, you don't. It's not necessarily like just giving gifts of like doing other people's work, but it's giving gifts or like leading, as in, talking with people about the importance of a get ignore or something like that. Like caring about that stuff and just getting people to talk more about it. And then by doing that stuff, you help to become a leader in that space. And that's kind of like what Tribes is. I'm not explaining it well. It's been a while since I've read that book too. But the whole idea is giving from that emotional, like he calls it, emotional labor. And Seth Godin, his most recent book is called This Is Marketing. And the thing that he's talking about, him and Gary Vee they have a negative view, or like maybe it's not negative. Maybe it's just an honest view of traditional marketing, where it is just trying to like get in, get your money and get out. Of course, it's not always like that, and not everybody's like that, but that's the negative feeling that people have, because when people try to market a new product, I see this all the time. There's a guy. So some people don't like Grant Cardone because maybe they think that he's too pushy, but I like Grant Cardone because I've read his books. But there's another guy that I see on Facebook a lot named Ty Lopez, and he sells like Mentor Box, and it just seems crappy. It just seems like he's just doing marketing tricks. And then actually I saw another ad, like some guy, he's like 19 or 20, and maybe this is true. I don't actually know, but he's like 19 or 20, like looking, so he's in his early 20s at least, and he's talking about how he made, $250 in the first 3 months by opening up some online stores, and he can show you how to do it. And I forget how much the course costs, and I swear I was listening to Gary Vee talk about this, about how marketers, like, they'll be on the beach, they'll flash all these scenes of like being on the beach or being on a cruise and stuff like that. And even when we were doing Kojo, we were talking about that a little bit. We were joking about that, like, but that's just not authentic. We're not really. I mean, we go to the beach. People go to the beach, but that doesn't mean we're like millionaires living on the beach. But that's what this young kid's ad was, like. And I was just thinking, well, whatever he's selling, why does he then need to also sell a course? If he was making that much money, why does he also need to sell a course on how to do it if he was making so much money? Of course, the thing that he's selling, if that's even true, I don't even know if it's true or not, but let's say it's true. The thing that he's probably selling and he made all that money off of is how to create a course, or is how to sell a course to do what I'm doing. Like, and Gary Vee kind of talked about that. It's like this weird cycle in the financial community, like personal finance blogs. They do that as well. And I like, there's a whole bunch of them that I like. I read a lot of like financial blogs, but one of the things that a lot of people do, they get excited, and I wanted to do this too, but I guess maybe I was just lazy. But I wanted to start a financial blog and talk about my like road to financial independence, like Mr. Money Mustache. Except for Mr. Money Mustache was a funny writer, and he was already retired by the time he started his blog. But I wanted to start it before I was retired and just talk about it. But actually, I think mine would have just been geared to being more fun. But let's say like there's a lot of people who will write these blogs about how to be financially independent, even though they're not that. And they're just excited about this concept. Oh, there's another book I read that was exactly talking about this. I don't think it was. Oh, I think it was just in So Good They Can't Ignore You, by Cal Newport. He talked about that same thing, except for he was like one of his case studies was like a lifestyle designer blog, and his only, like, he was just passionate about lifestyle design, but like, you're not really doing that thing. Like, you're not really skilled at it. And, again, it's just like a cycle. Like, how to become financially independent through being a lifestyle designer. But it's like, you're not really that yet. And so, anyway, maybe I'm rambling on this. But all these books now seem kind of like related. And that's what a lot of marketing feels like, right? At least when we were joking about doing the beach stuff, we are at least actually programmers. We're not millionaires, and we're not claiming to be millionaires. But we do both have, good high-paying jobs as senior developers. So that's cool. But still, we didn't really like that idea. We didn't do that style of ads, but the style of ads we did do didn't work anyway. So we're doing it the other way. Maybe the Seth Godin way. Maybe the like Gary Vee way of like that thank you economy. And right now we're not even selling anything. We're just trying to build a community, trying to give gifts. That's basically it. I always wanted to just have a blog, or I guess a vlog, or whatever, a YouTube channel about app tutorials. One time for a job, I was Actually, it was like the first job I got in Vegas. I got hired for Android developer, and then I did iOS development, and then we wanted to quickly scale up and have multiple apps. And so since the front-end developer was using Angular, he was bringing up Ionic, which is like a cross-platform app development tool. So you can write it once and deploy on iOS and Android. So I never used it before. Well, that's not true. I mean, I had used Ionic 1, but it had changed between Ionic 2, just like Angular 1 versus Angular 2. So I had like a limited experience with this. I needed to get started quickly because we wanted to prove to our boss that it was a valuable tool. So I went to, there's like a website called Ionic Academy, and it was a subscription for $25 a month. And it was useful. That's the thing, is I can't say that it wasn't useful. I was willing to pay. I only paid for it for 1 month. It was useful. But the videos were all like just 2 minutes to 5 minutes long. They were very short. There wasn't much content. And I just remember thinking, these are YouTube videos. I could make this and I could make it better. For me, in my position, because I knew nothing about Ionic, it was helpful. But as soon as I watched them, and then I had built some apps in like 3 months, I think we got a working version of one of our apps. And I was just thinking, I could make that exact site. Or like I could make these exact tutorials. Of course, idea is nothing. Execution is really everything. And so that's fair. He did it, and I still didn't do it. Anyway, but the idea was I always wanted to try that. I thought it would be fun. Even if we're not making money, even if I'm not making money from that, it is fun. It's fun to build up that community. To me, it's good for my resume. If nothing else, at the very least, it's good for my skills. It's good for my resume. So to me, there's just no downside to it. Anyway, so that's exactly what we're doing right now. So these books are about doing that basically, and then seeing. I'm not there yet, but like just understanding that social media is a part of business now, and you need to make sure that you are treating your customers like people. It's not the early 90s when nobody is communicating. Everybody's communicating. So anyway, we're not a business yet, but we're just making those cool tutorials. As a side note, something interesting that I'm also trying to do, because we have been posting our tutorials on Twitter, like we've been posting links to our YouTube channels on Twitter whenever we have like a new playlist up, like on Twitter and Facebook, and I think my partner's doing Snapchat. No, not Snapchat. I think he's doing Instagram. So we're posting all of these links. And, we're doing like hashtags. So like hashtag iOS dev, hashtag Swift. There's also hashtag 100 days of code. So I had been following that on our Twitter account for a while and just trying to get better at interacting with people. And I decided last night, I thought it would be fun to do, somebody had posted something, because I scroll through and I try to talk with people, and somebody had posted something, which I'm not saying it's true, but I liked the idea of it. He said, if you do 100 days of code, or he said, doing 100 days of code will get you a job. Doing 1,000 days of code will get you any job. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I've been programming for 15 years now, and I don't think, even if he's talking about, so obviously you can't just get any job. Like, I've done more than 1,000 days of code total, but I'm not sure if he's talking about the social media aspect of it or not, which I didn't do. But it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if it's directly true or not. I liked that idea, and so I decided I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that 1,000 days of code challenge. It's kind of a weird time to start it because I'm going on like a small vacation. We're going camping, me and my wife. So, but I'm still going to start it. I'm going to do it like a little bit of, because I was working on a little bit of a project yesterday for Kojo. Like, we're updating the calculator app. So I'm going to do some updates today. I already did some updates, so I'm going to do a little bit more updating today. I'll post that. And then tomorrow, I'll bring my laptop, and I should have my phone, and I think we'll have reception. But I probably won't be working on projects, but at least I can do small stuff like codesignal.com or something like that. Just so that I don't skip a day. And like I said, I'm going to try to do 1,000 days of code. I do think it would be interesting, by the way, like on GitHub, they have that big square that shows everything you've done last year and how much commits you had, like how much public or sometimes even private commits you've had that for that day or whatever. I thought it would look pretty cool if it was just all green. Of course, some of them are just going to be like one commit for that day, and that's fine. Maybe it's not that hard. Well, I'm trying to think. Because I'm like a professional programmer right now, I obviously code every day, Monday through Friday. So the challenge will just be making sure to talk about it every day and making sure to do it on the weekends. There's a lot of weekends where I do program, but I don't do it every single weekend. I don't do it every single holiday. So I'm going to do that now, just for fun. Anyway, I got to finish up a little bit of that project, at least so I can show a picture of it on Twitter. And then, going to go camping. I don't know if I'll be doing these videos for the next couple of days because we're going on vacation. But anyway, if not, well, whatever. You'll see me when you see me.